Hello, this is the 24th item of the StopFake News, the program that refutes and disproves fake news about the events occurring in Ukraine, and me, Margot Hontar. Representatives of Russia repeatedly claimed and continue to claim that currently the Russian army is not present in Ukraine, when there wasn't any opportunity to refute the fact of that invasion. Representatives of Russian Federation said that the Russian soldiers were lost. Security services of Ukraine detained 10 Russian paratroopers on the 25th of August, but Moscow still claimed that there were no Russian soldiers on the territory of Ukraine. RIA Novosti reported the same information 3 days after. There are no Russian armor convoy, said Andrei Kelin, Russia's permanent representative to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, after a meeting of the organization's Permanent Council. Some people claim that we sent regular troops there. What a nonsense. If we sent regular troops there, we will be in Kiev tomorrow. Nobody will intrude there with regular troops, stated Gennady Zyuganov, the head of the Communist Party of the Russian Federation. However, NATO published new satellite images showing Russian armed forces, which were moved in a convoy through a Ukrainian village and then prepared for a combat to reinforce fire emplacements near the area of Krasnodon in Ukraine. Claims made by representatives of the Russian Federation were also refuted by facts cited by representatives of allied joint forces of NATO in Europe. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. In the last hours, we received another confirmation that Russian regular army units are operating in the eastern Ukraine. This information comes from NATO. However, it is also confirmed by our intelligence, and these facts are unambiguous, stated Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk during his speech in Polish Sejm. Over 1,000 Russian soldiers are fighting in Ukraine, said a representative of headquarters of Joint Forces of NATO in Europe at the briefing in the Belgian city of Mons. According to information from the U.S. State Department, Russian soldiers already advanced 30 miles into the territory of Ukraine. This has been reported by spokesperson of the U.S. State Department, Jen Psaki, at briefing. Russia sent the newest anti-aircraft defense systems, including Panzer S-1, wrote in his Twitter account Jeffrey Piat, the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Moreover, major Russian mass media, including Russia One, Live News, RT, TASS, and others, informed that the UN had tried to prove that Russia delivered arms to volunteer corps in Ukraine and, according to Russian journalists, had failed. We did not succeed to gather firm evidence of arms delivery. Journalists cited the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Neve Pillay, in support of their statements. The Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights did not deny that these are Neve Pillay's words. The High Commissioner indeed said this phrase, answering a journalist's question. However, insulated from the context, the phrase did not convey the meaning of the speech at all. On Friday, on the 28th of August, the phrase of UN High Commissioner was explained by the UN Assistant Secretary General for Human Rights, Ivan Shimonovich. In an interview with StopFake.org, he said that the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights had never investigated sources of separatist arms delivery, and that is why it didn't have any evidence, and it could not have any evidence concerning this question. Shimonovich emphasized that this organization did not address such issues. To conduct such investigations, you need a mandate. We have absolutely different functions. We did not conduct any investigations of arms delivery. We detect violations of human rights, he said. So the statement that the UN does not have any proofs of Russia's arms delivery is not false, but looks like deliberate manipulation aimed at confirming, with an alleged reference to an authoritative source, that Russian Federation is not implicated in arms delivery to the separatists of so-called Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics. Ukrainian military said about the fact of the participation of the Russian armed forces in Ukraine, including photos and weight of evidence on the social networks, which are published by Russian military. However, it has become a tradition for the Kremlin to deny the presence of Russian troops in Ukraine. For example, in December last year, Vladimir Putin categorically denied the possibility of sending troops to the Crimea. He said it was complete nonsense. Nothing like that could be. Russian tigers could be observed in March in the Crimea, Novaya Gazeta wrote, comparing a picture taken by their photojournalist Eugene Feldman on the 4th of March in the Crimea, near the Air Force base in Ukraine, and the other, made in March 2012, during a rehearsal for the victory parade on the ground in the Russian Alabino. It could be determined by the numbers on the technique that they belonged to the Russian military district. In April, the Kremlin's rhetoric has changed. Putin admitted that there were really Russian troops in the Crimea.
Of course, our soldiers stood behind self-defense forces of Crimea. They acted very well, but as I have said already, absolutely professional.
Info TV has informed it also. In May, the Russian president gave the order to withdraw Russian troops from the Ukrainian border, thus recognizing their presence. It was explained as trainings, however, as in the case with the lost Russian paratroopers. Marines themselves, during an interview to public TV on the 30th of August, reported that they didn't know about the fact that they were on the Ukrainian territory and realized it when they were told about it, as well as they are now in captivity. No one would fight on Ukrainian territory if they knew about real war. In the interview, they said frankly that they were used as cannon fodder.
When we were captured, we were told that we are on the Ukrainian territory. No one explained us what was happening. We weren't told that we were going to the war. We were told that there was training, but, we shoot at cardboard targets on the teachings rather than people. If there is war, why they use us like cannon fodder? I'm out of words. If we were told that we're going to war, I'm 90% sure most of the regiment would simply come out of order.
Russians' perception of events in Ukraine is changing. According to the latest social poll, residents of Russia significantly supported less the stated policy of Moscow in August. 43% gave a negative answer on the question whether they support the Kremlin in a situation of open conflict with Ukraine. Those who supported were slightly less than 41%. Russian propaganda also changes tactics. We will talk in detail with our guest, James Miller, editor of The Interpreter, a special project of the New York Institute of Modern Russia.
So, hello, James.
Hello.
Yes, nice to have you
nice to
today. And can you shortly tell me about the mission of your project and what mainly you are doing there?
Sure. My name is James Miller. I'm the managing editor of InterpreterMag.com, the Interpreter magazine. And the Interpreter was launched to translate Russian websites and blog posts and articles into English to give Americans a better understanding of what was happening in Russia.
We spotted that Russia propaganda, changed tactics a bit, and so it started to look for fakes in Ukrainian media. So, for example, have you seen something like that? And if you have seen, what it can mean for Ukraine and maybe for all other?
Yes, so the Russian media the Russian media was much more independent a year ago, and the Russian government now controls almost all of the media, and not just owns the media, but controls the media. So journalists are being told what to say and what to write, what they can write, what they cannot write. And that's very dangerous. And a lot of the information coming out of these media outlets is fake. It's false. It's lies. It's
we know.
you know. And so it's become very important to address those issues and to talk about whether the Russian media claims in the Russian media are being are correct. So one of the first things we looked into is Kiev just run by Nazis, which is what the Russian media says. It says that Kiev is run by Nazis, and that is not true. We translated statements from Jewish leaders in Kiev that said that's nonsense. So that's the kind of Russian propaganda that's very dangerous, because the United States or the European Union or NATO or whoever would not support a government that's run by Nazis. So so that was not true, and that was very important. Now, one of the things we look at is that the Russian government uses the media to wage war in Ukraine. So every time things are getting worse, more Russian troops are coming across the border, the Russian media talks about how the Russian government is trying to make peace, or send aid to Ukraine, or meet with Poroshenko in Minsk, and so to
wrap up it, to cover the troops that are going to Ukraine. You mean, yes?
That's right.
All this rhetoric.
That's right. So you cover up the real thing. You distract from the real story, and what that does is it ruins momentum. So the Malaysian Airlines was shut down in July. And the media in the West talked a lot about how horrible Russia was, okay? And there was maybe a movement to do something about Russia. but then, Russia says, well, we're going to send an aid convoy. And so now all of a sudden, instead of talking about the war, we have to wait to see what happens with the aid convoy. Or now we have to wait until the conference is over in Minsk. So it's the Russian media is sort of controlling the narrative and is a tool for the Russian government to to control the pace and the world's reaction to the news that's happening.
And how can we fight it? I mean, we, like all the other world. So how can we fight it? Just be aware of this, or just doing something?
Yeah, we have to be aware of it. We have to expose some of the things that are fake. We have to keep reminding readers of the media that it's often not real, or even when it is real, it's highly manipulated.
So we need to expose all that.
We do need to expose all that, and we need to keep in mind that there are patterns to what's going on, and Russia repeats the same pattern every week. Russia repeats the same pattern. The media creates a problem. So the media will talk about aid in Lugansk this week, or it's whatever it is, whatever is the hot story, the news story that's being talked about. That's what the Russian media will focus. So it will create a problem. Then you will have a statement by Russian government that says, if the problem doesn't get better, we may have to invade. And then Friday rolls around, and the decision is made. Are tanks going to be sent across the border this weekend? Are we going to invade? Are we going to attack Ukraine? Are we going to shell them with rockets? And every week this pattern repeats. And so next week there will be another chance for more escalation, and it's the media that does it. It's the media that is working with the government hand in hand, which is not good.
Thank you, James.
James Miller, editor of The Interpreter, was our guest. It was the 24th item of the StopFake News. Follow our news to know about further development of the events. You can also follow our YouTube reports. Thank you for watching our news and your support. If you do appreciate our project as vital, you can give us your support. All transfer of money details are available at our website, stopfake.org. Follow our news. See you.